Hey guys, welcome back. We're still answering the question of what crop makes the most money in Farming Simulator 25. In this video, we're going to be doing vegetables, so that's carrots, parsnips, red beets, spinach, peas, and green beans. I'm starting here with a ridger, or hiller, or whatever these are called, making little ridges in the field so we can plant carrots. We're going to start with those first, and we're just going to be trying to see if they're worth it. I already did a video doing the grain crops, so those are kind of the regular crops, if you can call it that you do with a combine harvester. Pretty typical stuff that you start out with in new farmer mode on any map. You start out being able to do grain crops, but vegetables are very expensive. The harvesters for these crops are absurd. Over $500,000 for each and every one. And I'm just going to try and see if the benefit in yield is worth the money you spend on the equipment. If you haven't seen the video I did with the grain crops, I recommend you go check it out. There will be a link in the description, and stick around because I will be doing a video with the special crops like sugarcane, sugar beets, potatoes, rice, other things like that. So yeah, with all that said, we're going to get into the video. I'm going to try and show just a clip from each field as it's ready to harvest at the 100% yield bonus or whatever the highest it can get to, so that we know our results are bulletproof. All right, let's do it. Here are carrots ready to harvest at a 100% yield bonus. Only 4 months of growth. Let's do this. Here we've got the field full of red beets at 100% yield bonus. And let me just say, vegetables take a long time to harvest. This video is crazy. Well, I've changed things up a little bit, so we're standing in a field of peas. The traditional vegetables that came out last game are taking forever. I've already done carrots and red beets, so yeah, we're doing peas. And we'll do some green crops before we get back to parsnips. These are 100% yielded, and I've got a lot of trailers of red beets there. Carrots actually had more, believe it or not. Yeah, let's get this done. Got a field of green beans ready to harvest, 100% yield. And this marks being halfway done, so once we get this harvested, we'll be over halfway done. So I'll get this done, and we'll be moving on. Here's my field of spinach ready to harvest. It's got a 100% yield bonus. And this actually was the quickest crop to grow so far at only 3 months. Let's get it done. And finally, the last crop of 6 for the video, parsnips are ready to harvest, sitting quite comfortably at a 100% yield bonus here in the field. And yeah, as all vegetables do, or not all vegetables, as this type do, it's going to take multiple hours to get this done. So I'm going to get that, and then we'll have our results. Alright, and the parsnips are done. We've got everything sold, so as I prepare the ground for the next episode where we're doing the other crops, we're going to talk about the results. So keep in mind, everything was done on this exact same field. Every square inch of the field had everything done to it. It was mulched, then cultivated, then planted, then fertilized, and then rolled afterwards. Every single crop had 100% yield bonus throughout the entire field, and I made sure to harvest each and every morsel of crop out of the ground, because especially with vegetables, they're very narrow working widths, and sometimes the textures don't work, so it's hard to see exactly where the crop is in the ground versus where it looks like it is on the surface. But yeah, the aim of this was to kind of figure out whether or not vegetables were worth doing, while also figuring out which crop makes you the most money in Farming Simulator 25. Now, there was a patch update 1.3 that came out during the filming of this. Unfortunately, it was right after I filmed red beets. And if you did not know, red beets can now be harvested with a beet harvester. As you can see there, instead of just sugar beets, now there's red beets as well. And of course, I had to use the vegetable harvester to do red beets because it wasn't like that yet. But now red beets have gotten a lot easier, which actually changes some of my opinions on it. So we're going to get to the results now. So in terms of the vegetables, we did red beets, which got $87,864. It did yield 344,453 liters, which, if you can believe it, is more than 5 full semi-truck loads. In fact, it's almost 7 full semi-trucks, which is an absurd amount. Carrots, we made $121,545. So that is nearly double the best grain crop. Or I guess it's more than double, which is incredible. The problem though with carrots is that you yield a crap ton of carrots. 449,857 liters. That's 7.5 semi-trailers. I have tons. I had to have tons of semis because I didn't want to take trips back and forth. So yeah, just keep in mind when you're doing vegetables, you're going to get a ton of yield. With parsnips, we got $114,362, so nearly as good as carrots, and it yielded just about the same at 421,514 liters. The yields aren't all that important. I just like saying how many semi trucks it'll take because that's just an ease of life type of thing. The less semi trailers you have to take, the quicker you can get your money, the easier it is to do the crop. The parsnips did take a little bit more than 7 semi truck fulls for just this small field. So keep in mind, if you have a big, like very large field, you could be taking 10 to 15 semi trucks or even more, and that's a lot of trips. For me, that's a little too monotonous. For peas, we made $61,350, so quite a bit less than the other three vegetables. But the good thing about the three new vegetables with FS25 is that they can be completely automated with a worker on smaller fields. Obviously, the bigger the field, the more times you're going to have to unload the harvesters. But on a field like this, if you just had 2 harvesters running, you only had to unload them each like 1 or 2 times, which was fantastic. And the yield on peas was only 29,317 liters. That's only 1/3 of a semi-trailer. So you could do a field 3 times the size of this, and it would all fit in one semi-truck. Again, the price is half of the other vegetables, which is unfortunate, but yeah, these are so much easier to work. Green beans gives you $57,947, so a little bit less than peas, but it did yield a little more, 42,609 liters. That'll still all fit in one semi-trailer, which is nice because you can just sell all your crop at once. Again, it can all be automated with a worker. What I did is I had a worker working the headlands, and then I had another worker working just the up and down rows. And then I was running the carting, and it worked really well. These fields took like less than an hour to harvest with the 3 green vegetables of peas, green beans, and spinach. But with the other vegetables, carrots, parsnips, red beets, it was over 3 hours for each crop. And it was just such a headache. That's a long time to be doing something kind of monotonous like that. But anyways, spinach, which was the fastest growing crop we've had at all. All the other vegetables were 4 months. This was only 3 months to grow, completely from planting to growth, or to ready to harvest, I mean. It made $58,642 and yielded 141,057 liters, which is more than 2 semi-trailers, so kind of the most annoying to deal with carting. But again, 3 trips with your semi is really not that bad. When it gets to be like around 10, that's where I'm definitely turned off from the crop. But yeah, as I said, spinach, decent crop. Plus, I believe spinach, if you just harvest it and then leave the field, it'll grow back again in a couple of months. I don't think it yields as much, but to be fair, some of the other crops we'll get to, like grass and sugar cane, grapes and olives, they will just regrow constantly. You just harvest them, and then the next year they're ready to grow. You don't have to plant them again. So in order to keep things accurate, I'm only doing 1 harvest of the crops to see how much they make. But keep in mind, crops like grass, spinach, grapes, and olives, you can just harvest them multiple times without having to replant. So yeah, that is the results, and my breakdown was going to be no, vegetables are not worth it unless you have a lot of patience, or maybe you want to do multiplayer, because the workers absolutely suck with the vegetable harvester, the DeWolf right here. They're just terrible with it. Um, Although I will say I did parsnips after the update, and the worker did seem to be doing better, so I don't know if Giants changed how the workers work with the vegetable harvester, because frankly, it was really bad. So yeah, as I said, I was going to say vegetables are not worth it unless you just wanted to try them out for fun, which I definitely recommend trying all these crops for yourself at least once. But then with the patch update, red beets are now, you can use the sugar beet harvesters for them, which means instead of having to drive alongside the harvester with a trailer and the crop just dumping into your trailer, you can now use a harvester that has a hopper on it, which means you can fully automate red beets. And in fact, the working width for the beet harvester is 4 meters. The vegetable harvester is 3 meters. Plus, the sugar beet harvester runs faster, so red beets are now, you can do a wider amount, you can go faster, and it stores the crop in the harvester. So I say red beets are 100% worth it. They make a good 50% more than soybeans do, but again, the harvester is expensive, so I wouldn't do them to start out. Again, that's $700,000 before you buy the header, which is absurd. But on a well-established farm, sugar beets can be an excellent way, red beets can be an excellent way to diversify and make some pretty solid money while getting to do something different. As with all of these crops, productions are a big part, so I'm going to do a video kind of figuring out whether the productions make the crops really worth it or not. Maybe it's worth selling the crop bulk instead of making it into a production. Those are all things we'll figure out. But as you can see, compared to the grain crops, of course, the best grain crop, in my opinion, is soybeans because you don't have to deal with straw, and it pays just about as much as wheat, barley, and oats. And each and every vegetable made almost as much as soybeans, or well over what soybeans made. So if you want the simplicity and something that's really easy to do that makes a lot of money, I would say soybeans. But if you do have some money starting out, or whenever you get a well-established farm and you want to change things up, I think vegetables, especially red beets, are definitely worth it. If you're not doing red beets, maybe spinach would be worth it because you can do the double harvest. But yeah, those are my results. I hope you guys did enjoy this, and I'll see you next time. Peace.